everybody, and welcome. We got a whole cast of characters here. I hope that I know what the hell I'm doing here, but we'll see what's going to happen as we get through here. Welcome to our AEW preview show, sponsored by Beercade YEG here in Edmonton. We're not doing it live tonight. We're doing it remotely here, thanks to the wonderful world of work, thanks to me. But I got some great friends here who are willing to help us out here for this. I have to say this is, I think interesting would be the best way to put this card on Sunday, whether it's interesting good, interesting bad, interesting what the hell. We're not sure right now. And just to clarify here, Shadow to Cloud wants to remind everybody, for the best people, hey! Of course, we got from the Wrestlesode podcast, just fresh off an interview with the lumberjack Larry Woods and purveyor of, is it true that you're going to be bringing wagon wheels to the next LPW show, Anthony?
I might have to, apparently. What I apparently have to do is find an assortment of 90s kids snacks and bring them to a show and just find out like who likes what. You know what I mean? And then like if somebody's like, "Oh, do you have like an apple?" So delicious. I wish they haven't made them in 15 years. See, this is the conversations I've been having. It's annoying.
They're like my ice cream bar.
I know, right? So Delicious was the number one thing I would trade for on the. I'd go to the zoo. I'm like, I need to track down So Delicious because I'd bring a wagon wheel because I knew I could get like 2 So Delicious for 1 wagon wheel because like that's how like currency worked as a kid. You know what I mean? Anyways,
and
I'm Anthony.
And joining him as well is the man who demands ice cream bars. The man that
So Delicious.
Well, exactly.
See, Mr. It's a lost art.
I feel like a flat kid hitting the vending machine. I need my So Delicious.
Oh my! I could tell this show's gonna go. Chris Parrish, and
Yes.
and of course, Shouts agreeing with you here. So Delicious is the best. And also joining us for the very first time, and I'll tell you, folks, it's been about a year that I've been looking forward to this one right here. Astrid Pizarro. Everybody, you ready for it? Let's get it in here. And of course, Parrish is,
he's getting there.
Epic fail.
It's like a big cheese, right? Like, they're not taking the picture.
Well, we'll do some editing on that later. Astrid, welcome. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here.
No, thank you for having me. I know we've been waiting for this one, but it's finally here.
Yeah, it's been a while, and you got speaking of things that have happened first time for a long time here, you got an opportunity earlier today to be part of that AEW media call. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What?
Your thoughts about what happened there? And overall, I know there's one statement overall that is going to burn a craw on everybody here. Oh, by the way, the Canadian Wrestling Archive is cheering you on right now.
One of our favorite Americans, because we're so Canadian based.
But yeah, any thoughts? Like I know we could probably get into a little bit more about that comment made by Tony Khan later when we're talking about the Women's Championship match here. But any other thoughts about the overall experience there, as well as anything that you took out of it and what you think of it?
Yeah, I like how it was really organized. They knew back to back what, but at the same time, we have an hour with Tony Khan, and he takes a long time to answer the questions. So I feel like he could have answered more in that 1 hour, in my opinion. But yeah, that comment we'll get back to a little bit later. But I feel it was one of those, like, you don't say this on a media call with so many people tweeting what you're saying at the moment live. So I would have hold up a little bit on that, but that's a different story. But other than that, it was nice to participate and have somebody like Ella who gave me the opportunity to be able to do this. This is one of my goals. So I got to do one of my other things for this year.
Big shout out to Ella J for helping out with that. One of the great ones as well. I'd love to have her kicking around here on some other projects that we got going on here. But Anthony, you wanted to say something before we get going?
What comment? I haven't heard this comment yet. I've just been working all day. So I apparently am going to have a first reaction to something here.
All right. Well, I'll put it in the back of your mind and we can talk about it a little later on here. Tony Khan mentioned that in regards to having Thunder Rosa having such a quick promo to indicate that she's giving up the title at this point. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but I gave Punk 8 minutes because the ratings say that Punk can cover those 8 minutes and he'll do it well, and Thunder Rosa simply won't. The ratings won't cover, so. But yeah,
I didn't say it. So
yeah. So before we begin, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor here, Beercade YEG in Edmonton. We are going to be having a free showing of All Out there at the bar. And also it is Barnaval weekend, so free video games for everybody. So I will have to let you guys know it is important. Oh, Parrish. That did work. All right, remove.
I have free games too.
There we go. That's what I'm trying to do here. Oh God, here we go.
Apparently, if I write in there, it goes up with your name. So
anyway, I will just a quick reminder as we're getting into these matches here one by one. If you're looking to get to Beercade, it is recommended that you get a reservation before you start, before you come in, because there is a private function going on at the same night. So it's very good that it's a very good opportunity for you to get a reservation in to make sure that you're able to come watch with us. So I know myself, I'll be there. I know Parrish will be there. Anthony won't make the drive.
Selfish.
Hey, I make this drive a lot. When was the last time you came down to Calgary exactly?
Hey, you said you owed me a beer. You didn't get me one on Friday.
That's true. Well, to be fair, I only saw you for like a minute, and then you disappeared again. But I definitely should have got you.
So this is weird, Jupe. It says quick type say you'll sponsor something, and you okay.
I was just giving them what they wanted, man.
Fair enough. All right, so we're going to break down each of these matches here and just basically give our thoughts as we go along here. And we're starting, obviously, as you can see on the screen, with Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston, all a part of All Out 0 Hour. Now, we've heard the stories about Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara having their less than hospitable ways with each other. And this seems to be sort of a makeup for that in that situation. Either way, it is a hell of a rematch based on what they did at Capital Collision for NJPW. Astrid, your thoughts about this match here? I think it's going to be pretty straightforward, personally, but...
Yeah, it's just one of those that's going to be entertaining no matter what happens. I don't know much about New Japan, so I can comment on that end of it, but I always enjoy watching Eddie in any shape or form, so give him to me anytime with anybody, and I will enjoy that match. I'm glad it's also part of like the buy-in / 0 hour because it doesn't have a lot to it compared to the other matches on the card. But I'm glad we at least get to see Eddie, and not because of what happened with Sammy, he doesn't get to be on the card, which I'm glad that he isn't. So.
Yeah, what do we got here? Canadian Wrestling Archive 141 Get Bit. Let's go Ishii.
Yeah, I'm with the CWA. Let's go Ishii here. I think that this is Kingston's kind of like, hey, you know what? I made a bit of a mistake going in the backstage with Sammy. Sammy was just doing what he's already come out and admitted that he was in the fault with regards to this, right? And I mean, who better than Ishii to come over and just beat down on Kingston, because Ishii is basically New Japan's giant monster that will kill anything that walks in front of him. So give him Eddie Kingston, give us like 10 minutes on the pre-show, let them just fight. But for me, I think Ishii is coming away with the victory on this one personally.
Parrish, your thoughts?
Yeah, like if anybody ever watches like old school like UFC and the heavyweight fights, they didn't last long, but they're hard hitting, and you should look out for that knockout blow. And I think this is kind of that fight. These guys can hit, they're going to pull no punches, and it's going to be awesome. And it's going to be just fun to see both guys beat the crap out of each other for our entertainment. So I honestly don't care who wins. I just hope they put on a good show, because I don't really think anybody gets much out of a win or a loss here.
Yeah, personally, I think it's great for the fact that they're going to do up this match here. Each match that's going on in this card is showing you a different kind of style. And this is going to be your hard-hitting style match. And it's just showing everybody that hasn't bought the pay-per-view right before the show that there's an opportunity to really buy one and really enjoy it. So But speaking of alternate styles of matches, let's get into our second match here. And this one could be very jiu-jitsu based, I think. It's Hook versus Cool Hand Angelo Parker for the FTW Championship. Now, the build-up for this match has been primarily on Dark rather than on the main cards. Anthony, I'm going to go with you on this one here. I know you're a diehard Hook fan. Like, every time he's on, you're basically going ape crazy for it. But do you think Parker has any chance of winning this match?
Absolutely. There is always a chance. No, of course not. He's totally going to lose this match. It's going to be quick. It's going to be very one-sided. You know what? Angelo Parker's pretty awesome. They might give him like a series of moves. He might knock Hook out of the ring, something like that, right? But it'll be quick. Hook will come out victorious. It'll be fast. He'll look strong because the guy is flawless in the 6 moves that he does. And every time he does it, I'm very excited. So I feel like this is another one. This probably is like the lock of the night for me, because Hook's just now going to lose, especially when the build's been on Dark and not on TV, and it's Hook. You know what I mean? This is we'll give it the 2% botch.
Astrid?
Yeah, I don't watch Dark like he does. I don't know for sure. I just came out of nowhere for me, but I like Hook and how he's performing already, so I'm going to enjoy it. I don't see it lasting too long the way Hook's matches have been, but I'm sure we'll enjoy it either way. And I know Angelo's one of those, like, he will take whatever time they gave him, he'll take advantage of it. So I see this being a good match and entertaining as well.
Now, Parrish, will the man with the best bug eyes in AEW here, Magic Mike Menard, get involved in this matchup as well?
I think he'd be pretty silly not to. I think when you have somebody on Hook's level who's all he does is like kind of go through his opponents. Already side point. I'm already waiting to see who the first person to beat Hook is. I'm just going to point that out there. I'm already on that. Okay, who that is going to be. I don't think Angelo Parker's going to be that person. However, I do have my hope that this match is actually going to be a little longer than expectation, because I think Angelo Parker can go with Hook, and I would love to see him actually get that opportunity from a singles end.
And here's a quick question here, and I'm ignoring the other ones that are coming up in the chat because somebody's got access to my account as a supervisor right now on this stream. What if Angelo tries to seduce Hook? Does that change your opinion how the match will go? No, he'll still get squashed.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate just how good of a jawline Angelo Parker has, though, in this photo? Like, my God, I wish I had a tenth of the jaw this guy has. My God, what a jaw.
You want to talk about guys
like a Caucasian version of Naito in that photo.
Hook's got a little like Bigfoot going on right now. Where they
if he had like the tentacle glasses right there, it'd be awesome.
It looks like he wasn't able to make any studio photos. That's what it looks like to me. Anyway, let's get on to our next matchup here. And it's the last one in the pre-show. You got Pac versus Kip Sabian for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. This is going to be the first time that the AEW All-Atlantic Championship has been defended in on an AEW branded show. It's always been either Progress or some of the promotion out in England up to this point. Now, Kip has actually told a pretty good story over this last week, which has been brewing for over a year now, and now it's culminating right at the culminating at this pay-per-view. Now, Parrish, I'll throw this one to you here. Who do you got in this matchup here? Do you think Pac keeps the championship, or do you think Kip takes it and starts running with it the same way that Pac did?
My only concern is if it is Sabian that wins, what does this look like for the perception of that championship, knowing that this is the first real defense Pac has done on AEW? I don't know if that's the best thing for the championship. With that being said, I love Pac. I think the guy is one of the most underutilized talents in professional wrestling. I think he should have been the first ever AEW world champion, and I want him to go over in this match. I think this is more of a look, I'm back match by Kip Sabian, but I don't think he's going to get the job done.
Anthony?
Yeah, I'm exactly with Chris on this one. As Chris said, this is his first defense. You can say that he's defended in all the other ones, but as far as the promotion goes, this will be his first official defense. And there's no way they're going to make Pac one of the only people who in AEW right now has a singles victory over Kenny Omega. Not going to lose to Kip Sabian on his return match. As much as I like what Kip Sabian has done, don't get me wrong, I think the story that he's told is really good, and I am very excited to see him back, and I hope that he continues to run with this. But, I mean, even with something like this, I think at best he's going to continue to live in the mid-card, and Pac is definitely upper mid-card right now. So it's just... The pre-show in this show is basically kind of like one-sided to me pretty much with everything, but so I'm pretty sure everybody's feeling the same way.
And realistically, I think it should be. But Astrid, your thoughts on the match? I think we've covered everything. It's pretty straightforward on this one.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting if Kip wins, but I definitely think it's just Pac retaining it. And it's about time he gets highlighted the way he is right now with that championship, and he should go even further than what he's getting as well. So I don't see him losing it yet, especially on the first title defense official in AEW. But I think this is going to be one of those matches that's going to be so exciting to watch.
Yeah, I think the Canadian Wrestling Archive sums it up perfectly. I just came back to die from Kip. So, and then also while we're here, like Cody Defoe, good to see you in the chat, my friend. We are available both on Twitch and YouTube right now. So, yeah, that's your three match 0 hour free on YouTube card. We got 10 matches so far. And I emphasize the word so far because Tony Khan said he's not afraid to add more. He's a madman if he does, but...
He's afraid to add another women's match, probably. Oh!
Sorry. Hey, there'll be one at 9:30.
Oh, my God.
All right, let's get into this main card here. And let's start with... Let's just get this out of the way. The creepy little bastard right off the bat. We got...
How dare you say that about Jungle Boy?
I know. He's such a nice guy.
Sorry, do we call Christian Cage the creepy
big? Did you know that his dad was an actor? You'd never know.
This matchup here, last week they did a little bit. Oh, and Cody brings up a very good point. Let's. That graphic needs to be changed. It's Jack Perry, not Jungle Boy. But last week they had a 1-minute promo to get this match, just to wrap it up in a little bow to send it out. Honestly, I think that's all you needed last week because this has been, as far as I'm concerned, this has been a very decent build-up for this matchup here. This is the way that, unless they're doing something funny with Luchasaurus, I think that this should be straightforward for Jungle Boy to get the victory, to get his revenge after talking about his dad being dead and whatnot. So I just threw it up there just because I saw it there. But Astrid, your thoughts on this matchup here and who you think's going to win it?
Yeah, this has been one of my favorite build-ups recently in AEW, at least, and it has to be Jungle Boy. There's no other way, and I think it's a great way for Christian to use his experience to, help highlight somebody else and give them that experience too. I just, like you said, I'm curious about how Luchasaurus factors into this because it's nowhere in the graphic in any other side, which is interesting to think about. But I hope it's Jungle Boy taking it for sure.
Well, technically, Luchasaurus is suspended right now for hitting that official a few weeks ago, but who knows when that suspension's up. But this is wrestling, of course. So, Anthony, your thoughts on this?
So, I mean, I'm kind of in two minds about this. Honestly, like, my heart wants to say Jungle Boy. My brain wants to say Christian Cage. But at the end of the day, I don't actually care who wins this as long as it comes out with a black dinosaur version of Luchasaurus. You know how when he came out when he was wearing all that dark, and I want that as an action figure. So whatever road leads to that action figure.
Hold on, Anthony. Let me bring that up for you here. Oh,
I am not an action figure. Why am I still on screen?
There it is. So whatever road leads to the Dark Luchasaurus action figure is the road I truly, truly want. But I think it's probably, I'm going with Jungle Boy, though I think Christian Cage is doing really good work right now, and why stop that? But Jungle Boy.
Yeah, I'm pretty much, I like your idea there. Paris, your thoughts on this?
I I honestly think this depends on how long this is going to go. If this is going to go multiple more months and we're going to see this escalate, then I don't see a reason why Jungle Boy should win the match now. I think if Christian Cage does something dastardly to win this match and this sets up more, so, you know, he goes to more of a, say, like a ladder match or like something bigger, and then there's a climax to it, then I can see Jungle Boy having that win and getting it when it matters the most. However, if this is going to end right now, yes, you need Jungle Boy to win. You need him to have this victory because he is somebody that could eventually be a star, and you got to start putting that into play now because, well, in 5 years when everyone's contract comes up, you don't know if they're really going to stay, so you kind of need some internal stars to be built now. However, I do think Christian, if there's one person I believe that will help out Jungle Boy's evolution and growth, I don't think there's any better person to have on the other end than Christian Cage. So yeah, I just hope Christian Cage elevates Jungle Boy in this match, and if that's the case, I don't think it matters who wins as long as the story's there.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you here's something Cody that brought up here. So if they plan to split Jurassic Express permanently, Jack loses to Dino Interference. That would be the only way I'd see Jack Perry losing this matchup personally. Canadian Wrestling Archive is simply going with Christian because he's Canadian. But
it's good. We're also a month away from the first Canadian show, having, you know, a strong Toronto boy like Christian. You know what I mean?
He's going to get booed out of the building.
Strong.
I can't wait. Oh, it's getting so good.
He's okay in round 1, but round 2, he's not there.
All right, moving on. Our first of many 6-person tag team matches here. We got the House of Black taking on the all-star team of Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin. Now, first of all, I have to ask everyone here, how many crazy spots is Sting going to do in this match? And then, who do you have in this match? And Parrish, I'm going to go with you first here.
I think Buddy Matthews is going to do something insane. I think Darby Allin is going to think and then execute multiple things that are insane. But as for Sting, I'm going to go with 1 because he is the only guy in this match that knows how to do one big thing and make it the most memorable thing you'll see all night. He is the most old school of old school mentalities, and I appreciate that a lot. My thing in this match, how does Miro go through this match and not get the win?
He'd have to be taken out somewhat fierce. Astrid, your thoughts?
This is one of those that I don't care who really wins. I love both sides. But I'm enjoying House of Black a lot, so I would like for them to get this win, especially with, you know, keep building them up as they've been going recently. But I don't want Miro to lose at the same time, so I might keep it on that side. But it's one of those that's going to be crazy spots everywhere, and it's going to be hard to, you know, keep up with the action that's going on in the ring. But it's going to be so exciting to watch it, though.
And Anthony, your thoughts?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I agree, probably one big spot from Sting, but like that's a big spot. I think he'll do like a medium spot as well, like a top rope jump or something like that, and then he'll go something stupid. That's how I think Sting will go. I want House of Black to win this, and here's the reason. They're not winning enough on TV. They don't come off as powerful trios, and they should. I mean, Sting and Darby and Miro kind of thrown together. Yes, Miro's got some conflict with them. I personally feel like he should be the reason they lose this match because he isn't in full control, just for him to get his redemption story later on, as he is the Redeemer. But I think for right now, Darby and Sting don't need a win. I definitely think House of Black needs a win. They need to look strong, and I think this could be a really good story for Miro if he loses tonight and finds a way to redeem himself.
House of Black should have won the trios titles.
I also agree with that.
We'll talk about that once we get over to our main event here, the match I'm listing as the main event. But Cody's on the same boat as you here, Anthony. The unified team needs to win against this makeshift group to enemies. The only thing I'm worried about is how many times Darby's going to die in this match. I think the over-under's got to be around 4.5 right now, based on everything that he does and everything he's going to start doing as we go along here. But
Can I have the option to say something that's actually, it might sound bad, but it actually is hilarious in terms of the way I say it?
I got edit buttons for later. It's all good. Go ahead.
The amount of times Darby Allin dies and the amount of lives he has, he makes cats look like pussies.
Ah, yes. By the way, shout out to Jack Perry. We need to get that shirt made back up again. But it's a good point to bring that up right now. But moving on to our next matchup here. And speaking of six-person tags here, Wardlow and FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, if the circumstances were available here that we did not have tag titles involved and, FTR having every championship under the sun outside the AEW championship, this would be set up as an absolute dream match for many people. But because of the mystique of having all those titles on FTR, everybody wants the Young Bucks and with the AEW titles in that big final match, which Tony Khan has apparently said that was never in the books to begin with. But to me, I feel that this match, in many ways, isn't getting the respect it deserves because it's going to be an absolute banger of a matchup here. I see Astrid here agreed with me right away here. Your thoughts on this matchup and who you think is going to come out on top here?
I don't know how to put a pick as a winner, but it's going to seem biased at the same time. Being that I've been kind of almost growing up in Orlando, I went to, TNA/Impact so often that the Machine Guns are so dear to my heart. But at the same time, I love Wardlow and FTR, especially recently, how they've been going about it on TV. So I don't know, I'm like torn in this one, but I feel like I want the Machine Guns to win. It's nice to see the Impact talent joining back with AEW. It gives me hope for like somebody else to show up a little bit later, and to see that hopefully they're mending that relationship again because it was for a little while. So I'm hoping this is that bridge and that gap to like keep bringing up talent and mixing it up with AEW again. But if I could have a winner, I would like to have the Machine Guns win. Sorry.
Really? Over Wardlow?
I know, and I love the Machine Guns so much. I'm sorry.
Wow. All right, well, two things I got to bring up before I bring you in here, Anthony. First of all, HPC2 Sweet. Shout out to Heels, Pops, and Chair Shots podcast coming in. Absolute banger is what he's saying for this matchup, and I think we'll all agree on that one. And since I'm switching it over to Anthony, I'll give you your plug thanks to that Canada dude. Thanks, Anthony Rules. Anthony, your thoughts on this matchup?
All right, so individually, the people in this match make me so excited. I'm a huge fan of FTR. I'm a huge fan of the Motor City Machine Guns. I love Wardlow. And like everything about this match says like, hey, this should be absolutely big. I am not looking forward to this match at all. And I can kind of tell you why. And it really comes down to the fact that like there's too many people in this match that are good at different things. And I'll bring this to the NXT days. My favorite tag team match of all time was #DIY versus The Revival at NXT TakeOver Toronto. They put on two great matches back to back, right? Like the FTR versus #DIY. And then they brought in their third match, and they brought in the Authors of Pain. And that match sucked. And I kind of feel like this is going to have that kind of feel where like Wardlow's really good at just absolutely destroying people. FTR and Motor City Machine Guns put on like just really amazing tag matches and everything like that, right? Like there's so much good that can happen in this match, but I just am not super excited. And here's the thing. Jay Lethal is his own person in this match when it comes to his wrestling style, right? He won't mesh well with someone like a Wardlow. He might mesh well with the tag teams, but they're going to be doing their own thing. Everybody individually, super excited for it. This match, I'm just not excited for it. That being said, I'm going to go with Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns because I think that Lethal and Ring of Honor needs a good push. I think that we need to remind people that FTR, they can lose a match eventually, right? They're coming towards the end of the year. They're probably going to win Wrestler of the Year this year. And Wardlow needs some sort of interesting story. So he like just isn't powerbomb symphony everybody. That's my rant. I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah.
No, it's fine. I truly appreciate it. Off that note, Parrish, your thoughts on this matchup?
I got two ways I can look at it. I can see both teams winning for different reasons. I can see Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns winning simply with Motor City Machine Guns getting the win on FTR to set up a future Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match. I can definitely see that. And I think that would make sense and really revitalize or maybe revive the tag team division in Ring of Honor, because you can't really do FTR and Briscoes again. You kind of have to do something different right now. However, I can definitely see Wardlow taking a dominant win here, and I can see FTR getting a win, but I think at some point it's going to come with a future story. I think Lethal and Wardlow make a lot of sense of going after that TNT title right now. And I think no matter what way you want to go, I think the fact that you're seeing one of the most underrated cruiserweight tag teams of all time in the Motor City Machine Guns, I think it's fair to say that if there's a Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, they might be one of the greatest cruiserweight tag teams of all time. But they're going with who I might say, when they decide to hang up those boots, could be the greatest tag team of all time in FTR. That tag match has to happen at some point, and we need to see it for championships in matches that matter. My thing, Wardlow is that diamond in the rough right now, and you got to make sure he's highlighted. So no matter what happens, you got to make sure Wardlow looks good. He doesn't have to win. He can even lose. He just has to look good, because he very well could be the face of AEW in a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll bring out Shout Out to Cloud's comment here. Just thought about the trios match. Too many trios matches for a show that has the finals for a trios championship. I think the championship should stand out, and it's possible it might already be the most talked about trios match at the end of the card. Very much so, and we'll get into why here in just a moment. And to once again bring up Anthony's thought there about Wrestler of the Year. Anthony thinks Will Ospreay is going to be the Wrestler of the Year. We can discuss that later on here about this, but while we actually have some ads playing right now on our Twitch stream. So while we're here for a second, let me just throw in another plug-in once again for our sponsor, Beercade YEG here in Edmonton. They are doing a free viewing of the All Out pay-per-view. Make sure to reserve your seat early. There is a private function going on tonight as well. And with that being said, there is going to be limited space. If you don't reserve early, it's going to be tight fitting for you there. So let's always make sure that you get a chance to see this show along with everybody who's a wrestling fan here in the great city of Edmonton. As much as Anthony will like to argue about that, but he doesn't have his headphones on, so... Oh, never mind.
My mom called. I'll be 1 sec.
All right, let me duck you out of here for 1 sec. You can just wave at me when you're... What am I talking about? You can bring yourself back in when you're ready to go. Anyway, let's move on to our next matchup here while we're waiting here. And this one is going to be an absolute... I got a feeling this could either be absolutely amazing or this could be absolutely horrible. You got Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho. I'm not saying the absolutely horrible part out of Danielson. Jericho has been able to go for quite a while, but every once in a while, if you get that crazy little spot there where Jericho will throw too much in there, and it just makes things look just plain old ugly out there. Now, I do understand that this match is supposed to be a custody of Daniel Garcia on a pole match, but at the same time, I think we might get there later on, but that's a whole story amongst itself. Astrid, your thoughts on this matchup, and who do you think that Danielson gets his victory to make up for what happened at Double or Nothing?
I think he should. I like Jericho, but I feel like he's always winning at this point. I feel like, when does he lose, really? It's rare. I know that he tapped out recently, but it feels rare, and I want him to lose for once at least. It's like, come on, dude. But for Bryan, it just, with the recent injury and everything, I feel like I'm concerned more about his performance and the concussions and everything. Is he really 100% to go into this? I feel like I'm gonna watch it just probably one eye open, just concerned for Brian the whole time. But I know he's gonna be great at it either way. But I'm just not looking forward to the Jericho part of it. I'm already tired of him, and as I call them, the jazz hands. I don't like their talking segments so often, so I'm just tired of them. So I just want Brian to win this one.
I like some of the comments coming into the chat right now. Shout out to Cloud, bring it up. I just want Garcia to add himself to the matchup and just beat the living crap out of both of them, which I agree. Shout out to White Mountain, just popping in here. And HPC Too Sweet, he's here for the wizardry. He's actually coming out as Lionheart, so I don't know how much wizardry we're going to get out of this, but... And Cody Defoe, of course, this match is going to have some fuckery of some kind. Either Garcia costs Jericho by accident, or Garcia helps Jericho, and then Jericho cuts Garcia from JS. Very well could be. Anthony, your thoughts on this matchup here? Because I know you're looking forward to this.
So I'm right in the middle, like, of all those things, but slightly different. I think that Garcia helps Jericho win this match just to eventually kind of walk out with Bryan Danielson. Like, I would really like for him to actually, like our Shout said, just start laying out both of them. Prove he's his own person. He doesn't need the Jericho Appreciation Society, but at the same time, he doesn't need the Blackpool Combat Club because he's fucking Daniel Garcia. And in terms of, like, a young guy, this guy is the fucking future of wrestling. He is so good. He doesn't need either of them, and he should be the star of this match. And I think that's how it really needs to come and play out. Danielson doesn't need a win. Jericho doesn't need neither of these guys even need a match. The whole reason they're here is eventually to put over Daniel Garcia. So he is going to play a vital role in this. I think it might eventually be a no contest, but at the end of the day, I think what really is the important part is that Daniel Garcia walks out looking strong and independent.
A no contest at AEW? My God.
I could see it happening. This is the match I could see it happening with because of JAS and all the fuckery that goes on with, sports entertainment.
Fair enough. Parrish, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree that Garcia needs to be the focus because you're kind of like this whole match started because of Garcia's match with Danielson and Jericho, not really like just taking his moment away. So maybe we see something where Garcia comes in just to take Jericho's moment away, but doesn't necessarily help Danielson. And I think maybe we see something more towards that, Jericho and Garcia. But I don't necessarily think we'll get an answer at this show. I think everything's aligned for an answer, but also I don't think anything needs an answer. I think you can just always add a little bit of a wrinkle here, and that's okay, as long as that wrinkle is Garcia. And if that's Garcia and he's the focus of this match after it's done without being involved, I think that's a great idea. In terms of who I think is winning this match, I think Bryan Danielson is going to get the win because Garcia takes away Jericho's moment.
That's fair. And White Mountain 66 has this perfect. Anything can happen in this matchup here. This is one of those wide open matches that I think anybody could win this one, and it could go any which way right now. But also remember one very important caveat here. Daniel Garcia gets a second shot at the ROH Pure Championship coming up this Wednesday on Dynamite. So could it be that Garcia's trying to prove himself to the BCC once he gets away from Jericho? One or the other? Uh-oh. Parrish, there's some slander on you in the chat, and I feel like I need to bring it up here.
I have a wife. Eat it.
Okay. Moving on. Let's get into this match here. This one, wow, this is going to be... Well, Shout's got you back there, by the way, Parrish. Just before we move on to our casino ladder match.
We should definitely follow Shout at the Cloud more often.
Absolutely.
He would appreciate it most if you turned it into a mullet, though. If you went full mullet, you'd be his favorite wrestler.
No.
You should see how hype he is into Draco right now. He's just like, have you seen his mullet? It's so good.
I have a hat, by the way. I do have a hat.
Put it on 90s style like I do, backwards.
I should put it on like Will Smith Fresh Prince style.
I'm trying not to use the mute button here. Well, oh God, I'm not bringing that up. Casino ladder match for a number one contendership for the AEW championship. This is an absolute banger of a match. We got 3 different factions going on here with Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia. You got the Lucha Brothers. You got LFI in Rush and Andrade, and you got Dante Martin. Plus, you got that Joker, which really could be anybody here right now. Parrish, since you guys are talking about mullets and whatnot in the chat right now, I'll bring this up to you. 2 questions. Who's the Joker? Who wins this match?
I would like... Oh, man. See, I know WWE has that 90 days, but Flash Morgan Webster would be such a great Joker in this. I find the Jokers that aren't necessarily the biggest names. However, I will give you one little question though. What happens if the Joker is MJF?
This is where I'll get into this in just a second here about the booking of the show and how the booking will tell a lot about what's going to happen here. But it very well could be MJF. And yeah, Cody was going to bring up a point I was going to bring up as well here. Flash Morgan Webster should only be a 30-day clause because he comes from NXT right now. The main roster guys get 90 days. NXT gets 30.
Oh, so, Triple H in charge. We have no idea if the rules get changed now.
Well, unfortunately, you can't change contracts. So, and that's written into the NXT contract, which, unless every single wrestler wrote a new contract, but here nor there, that's beside the point. Who do you have as a winner, Parrish?
I hope Andrade wins this. I think if there's one person that just needs it, it's him. Even though I think Rush would make a great sense here, no, I think it's Andrade. Like if Andrade doesn't get the win here, and he doesn't have anything going for him, like if I was him, I'd be like, what would stop me then? If I'm not getting it here, what would prevent me from going back to WWE at this point? I think he needs this just to stay relevant in the scene of AEW.
Absolutely. Before I send it over to you, Astrid, here, just want to get a shout out here from Bobby Munson, just checking in, saying hello to everybody. If you guys aren't following Bobby, give him a follow here. He's a great guy, and they do a lot of great content over there at the Video Bros Network there. All right, Astrid, who do you got as the Joker, and who do you have as the winner of this matchup?
I kept thinking MJF, but knowing our luck, we might get Johnny Elite again. But that's a different story. But I do want Andrade to win it, just the same reason as Parrish. I just want him to get that win, that one that makes you want to, like support him even more than want him to be on TV more often and get something different. But at the same time, the angle that we got this past Wednesday with him and Ivo Uno backstage makes me wonder they're setting something up for him already after All Out. So it makes me wonder, is he really going to win this? But I do want him to win it, though. I feel like it's one of those people like I would like to see him in the title picture somehow.
And Anthony, your thoughts about who the Joker is and who's going to win it?
I am with Chris on this one. I think the Joker and the winner in this specific scenario should be MJF. And here's the thing. I think when MJF comes back, it's going to be one of the biggest things in wrestling. I think AEW needs that right now. They need something kind of hype. They need someone like an MJF to kind of always be lording over somebody that he has a title opportunity. That's something that he is great at. And he doesn't need to be a face. Like, he can come back, he can win this, and he can still be an asshole. So, I think, like, I don't know what's happening with MJF, and I can't think of a better place for him to come back in, because if he has this power, that's just like the quintessential MJF thing. Being able to have that title opportunity.
Show off that figure once again there, right there. The MJF figure. That is beautiful.
Yeah, so I would love for it to be MJF. I've missed MJF honestly. When I noticed MJF gone more than I noticed Kenny Omega gone. Like that's how much it was affecting me. I didn't realize how much I actually enjoyed MJF on my screen. I've missed him since the beginning, and as soon as he left, I noticed personally my interest in AEW waned slightly. I was very upset by this. I honestly think he's just so good, and no matter what he does, even if it's something stupid, I like watching him. So.
Parrish, you look like you wanted to chime in on something there before we
because I just
get
think
to fan reactions.
I think it's very easy to think about somebody like debuting in AEW when we see like a Joker, and I know we've talked about people returning, but I think two names should be very much thought of, and that is Adam Cole and Chicago's own Colt Cabana. And I think those are two names that we definitely should be expecting or thinking about with this Joker, because I do think you could be seeing a ladder match, which is all about the boo. And I wouldn't be shocked, nor would my system be shocked, if Adam Cole came out.
All right, let's get to some fan comments here as we go along here. HBC Too Sweet. Give it to me, Hermano El Phoenix. I would love to see Phoenix versus, John Moxley or CM Punk, especially John Moxley. Cody bringing up Claudio, Andrade, and Dante are the only ones that feel like they make sense, but I honestly believe whoever shows is the Joker. Fair enough. And to your point there, Jupiter, wrestling needs MJF for so long. Here's an interesting pick. Shout is saying in the chat repeatedly here. Samoa Joe, and then he challenges Punk and Arthur Ashe in that replay of the early ROH days, right? So we got Cody bringing up Bebe being a great choice. Mm-hmm. And then after that, eventually you can do Danielson Punk in Full Gear, the match we've always wanted. And then, of course, just want to give a shout out quick to Darth Mick. Good to see you here tonight, my friend. Good to see everybody in.
I thought it was Dar the Milk. I wasn't paying enough attention.
There's no L in there, but
I know. But
I hope I'm saying it right. He's been summoned to me for a long time here. So, but yeah, my personal opinion here, MJF just sounds like the right choice. If this match goes off, if what I feel is right, and then we're gonna get to the heavyweight championship match here in a quick second. But I have a feeling that match should actually go on first and get that anticipation out of the way. If that goes on first and you get Punk winning there and then you get MJF as the Joker in this match, that's where you're going to build a storyline there for Arthur Ashe. MJF versus Punk at Arthur Ashe, right near MJF's hometown, which he always wants to remind you is in New York.
Actually, he would say it's on. Yeah, it's on Long Island.
Don't actually believe what happened, but I'd love to see Matt Cardona the spot. I think Cardona's been there, done that. He's on his way here. And that Darth Mick here, MJF is the guy there. TK said they're 100% on par now, which I'll never believe anything a promoter says when it comes to stuff like that. But one fact I wanted to bring up here, just as you guys were talking about it, Roosh actually did get a title shot against Moxley just a couple weeks ago, and while it was a good match, I don't think it got the pop that Tony would probably need to think about having a rematch on it, but I still think it'd be a hell of a choice. Anybody in this match really could be a credible threat to whoever the champion is, with the exception of Dante, but Dante's in there just to jump over a ladder without any help from the ring ropes at all. So that's the main reason why he's in there for this one. So, but speaking of which, I'm bringing this one up early because I am hoping, I am praying, I am wishing. I'm going to solo this right now because I am serious about this. I seriously want this match to go on first. Get this out of the way. Let some stories develop after it, because it sure as hell does not have the right build-up compared to what some of these other matches have and what these other matches should be. So put this on first. And I'll get my face out of the way here. Sorry about my rant.
How you really feel.
Sorry, there's a couple things I'm really pissed off about, and this is one that I'm really serious about. I really hope that this goes on first. Not only can you advertise that this match is going to go on first, and then you can sell the hell out of the early part of the pay-per-view, everybody gets into it, but also the fact you put those trios titles on last because people actually care about that story just a tiny bit. We'll get into who's going to probably be in it later on, but, you know, those championships mean a hell of a lot to this company, so why not make them feel bigger? All right, now that I've gone through my rant, thank you. Anthony.
Disagree. Why would you want to put this show on first just for CM Punk to lose again and kill the Chicago crowd? That is not going to be a good idea. He's definitely not going to win over Jon Moxley again. I understand the story. No, I don't. And even if he did, it would be cheating to win, and he would be turning heel. Everything I saw looked towards like this is going to be happening. Jon Moxley will continue to walk out of Chicago as the champion. Whether he is standing tall, I'm not quite sure. But either way, if you put this on first, you will kill the Chicago crowd because CM Punk will not win. So I do not believe it is the place to put it on first because Chicago loves Punk. So you need to do this right after something big or right before something big because you need to reinvest that crowd shortly thereafter.
We are going to have something big go on right before it. We are going to have Hook go out there and absolutely destroy Angelo Parker.
There you go. That's the exact thing you need just beforehand to not kill the crowd.
Darth Mick gets it in here. Mox gets screwed out of the title is his guess. Astrid, your thoughts on this? And do you think this match should go on first or earlier? Or should it be the main event? And who do you think is going to win it?
It's sad to say that probably this is the first time I really don't care about the storyline after what happened. It seems that there's no point to it now, really. I really don't really care where it goes, but yeah, I feel like I understand where Anthony's coming from about putting it first because if Punk loses, you're losing the crowd from the get-go and it's going to affect everybody else in the whole show. But I don't know who I want to win this one because Moxie's the one that I prefer and I want to keep the title on him. But at this point, I really don't care who wins it because I really don't care after what happened 2 weeks ago about this now.
Yeah, fair enough. Parrish, your thoughts before I get to the crowd reactions here?
Yeah, I honestly think if you want to make some noise and you want to make this a memorable thing, you would have it as the main event. And just when you think CM Punk is going to win, this would be the best time to have MJF come back and beat up Punk, cause that disqualification, then beat up Jon Moxley, raise that AEW championship high, and have him directly say, "This is my effing company now." And that is how this show should end. And all of a sudden, I think that world title has a lot more meaning and give a crap factor behind it.
Fair enough. All right, let's get to some fan comments before I get to my final thought on that. If MJF is back, I would honestly rather see Mox versus MJF than Punk versus MJF. Fair enough. For me, it's all about the story that we got going on. And then Cody bring it up. Fully expected if Mox wins, he rides sign the crowd. I think that's going to be an automatic. Darth Mick, and this is the comment I was going to bring up here. I think the crowd will be reasonable if Punk gets wrecked in the first match. I know that people are thinking Daniel Bryan Royal Rumble 2015 possibilities if Punk loses in the first match. I think the biggest difference is AEW has the roster that can bring back a crowd like this. WWE never did, in my opinion at least. So
they did. They just didn't have the creative that had the balls to do it.
There you go. So like that. And then Wacko Ninja brings up, never going to happen, but imagine Colt came out to help Punk win. Crowd would lose it. That would be a hell of a lot of money TK would have to pay Colt to do that. I think that's the best way to put it.
Actually, the way you walk away with the happiest Chicago crowd, because some of them have kind of turned on Punk already, is to have Colt come out and just beat up both of them, kick Punk in the nuts, and then win. And then the crowd would just be 100% happy because both Colts will have won, and it's Chicago, and they don't care. So
how
Touché.
interesting would it be if you had a Blackpool Combat Club go up against a reuniting Second City Saints in Chicago?
I don't see the Second City Saints returning.
No, I don't either. But that's a moment though, and I don't think if we ever I would say CM Punk and Colt Cabana hugging it out would be this generation's version of Shawn and Brett reuniting.
Very well, but let's think about it this way: is Chicago really a reasonable crowd? Mm-hmm. They're about as uncivilized as Calgary.
They're one of the best crowds in the world when it comes to professional wrestling.
And so is Calgary. I agree with that. So.
Calgary doesn't. They don't even know hockey.
Well, we don't anymore. We got rid of all our best players.
All right. Just looking through the comments. If anybody wants to throw any comments, any thoughts, if it's match related, we'll get to them during the match. If not, we will get at them during our. Once we're done here, I'll make sure we get them collected and we can use them later. Let's move on to our next match here. Another championship match. This one, I believe, we would consider the Rampage Championship, with Jade defending the TBS Championship against Athena. Now, to me, I feel that this might actually be the time where you pull that trigger on Jade and give that title to Athena. It's borderlining right now between whether it's turning into a Roman Reigns timeline poorly booked versus can she still stay at this high level the way she is? So, and just like Cody said, and I'm going to bring this to you, Ashton, first. Could Athena be the one to end the streak?
If I had to pick somebody, I would have picked between her and Chris Statlander, but obviously Statlander is out for the moment. But if it's somebody, I would do Athena, just because after that, who do you really pick to go against Jade? She's gone through so many other ladies already, and it feels like at this point you kind of lose interest in what's going on because you already know she's going to win the match. And I feel like this is one of those few times that you can actually doubt yourself that she's winning the match, which I like, because it makes you think that Athena does have a chance of winning this. And I would like to see it. I would like to see somebody different, some fresh storylines going on with the TBS Championship. That would be nice to see on TV as well every now and then, and not just the Jade interviews that we're always getting. I want something new with that going on. And it would be nice to see Jade chasing the championship as well, just to regain it, or even going for the world championship.
Absolutely. Anthony, your thoughts on this? Can Athena take out Jade and win that TBS championship?
No. Here's the thing. Jade is probably the best example of what they're doing with a woman in AEW, where I think it's actually working. She's making herself legitimately into a star. She's winning lots of matches. She's putting on good matches, especially because they're not super long, and she's really working with what she does. She's got a great presence. She has a great look, and she's good on the mic. And here's the thing about Athena. Athena is great, but she hasn't been built within AEW. All the time she came within WWE, and even then she wasn't booked very strong. The type of person that you need to actually dethrone Jade, I think, needs to be like a legitimate star. And here's the problem. I just don't think AEW has any being cooked up besides Jade right now. So I honestly think that they're going to keep the title on her for a long time until they can either build somebody up where it's kind of like a Sami Zayn NXT storyline where the underdog can eventually kind of come back and, dethrone the monster. Or they bring in somebody who is legitimately on the same level as Jade, or who can even look down on Jade and say, you think you're a star, here's my credentials, I'm a bigger star than you, and it doesn't matter how big you think you are. At the end of the day, you're nothing compared to me. We need something like that for Jade to overcome, because I think if we just give it to Athena, then all this time we put into Jade making her to a star just really brings her back down to the level where Athena is, which just isn't nearly as high as Jade in AEW right now.
Now, Parrish, I'm going to throw a little extra curveball here for you. Stokely Hathaway, is he still working with Jade, and will he be involved in this matchup?
I don't think he'll get involved in the match. I think I can be the first one that says I really dislike any male managers getting involved in female matches as a whole. I think it makes zero sense, and I think it takes away from the women at times. But then again, I'm accustomed to WWE booking. So, I really wanted to get to this point because I felt it kind of built up to where I was always thinking, and I was kind of hoping you'd go with me first. But I'm even happier that I'm now last. I think Athena would be the best feel-good story to beat Jade if given the right story. However, that's not the case here. I think Jade wins this match, gets on the mic, claims that this is her time and Chicago is her house, and we see the debuting, formerly known Paige, come in, and there is your legit threat for Jade.
See, Chris knows exactly what I mean. You have to have somebody with that star power. You get someone like Saraya out there. She is exactly that type of person.
All right, let's get to some fan comments here as we're going. White Mountain 66. Athena could have a run with the belt. It is a possibility. She could actually have a good one. Shout out to Cloud being his optimistic self as always. It's a women's match in AEW. Of course, it's booked poorly. Darthmic with a very good idea in the booking here. Not sure Jade loses here. I think she loses in a multi-woman match where Jade doesn't take the pin. That very well could be a way to go here. And then, yeah, the most common idea would have been Statlander. I think it would have been the smart choice, too. Maybe if Hayter doesn't win, she doesn't win the four-way and runs a program against... Okay. So maybe you get Hayter in this situation. I don't think you bring Hayter back down here. But we'll talk a little bit about that once we get to the Women's Championship match. But yeah, once again, just want to... I'm trying to time this up so that while we have the ad breaks on Twitch, I do the plugs for the for our sponsor here, Beercade YEG. Just remember, folks, come down this Sunday. We got free games all day. There's no cover at the door. A ton of TVs. I believe there's like 40 or 50 TVs that are showing the show. And fun times, and you even get to hang out with Chris Parrish.
Can I come?
Yeah.
If you want to drive, it's all you. Come on up.
It's only 3.5 hours.
If you drive slow.
If I drive highway speed and above it.
Nobody drives highway speed.
I don't even want to comment about driving techniques here, but let's move on to our next match here. Let's I don't even want to get started on more Calgary slander. No, we got three more matches to go here, and they're going to be interesting ones to say the least. Speaking of interesting, Swerve in Our Glory, one of the most makeshift. How did you come up with this teams that's turned out to be really successful, taking on one of the most popular teams in AEW with one of the most powerful voices in AEW right now? Do you think it's the time for the Acclaimed to win this championship, Anthony?
No, unfortunately not. I think they're amazing. I feel bad because every time you come to me, you're like, Anthony, what do you think? I go, yeah, no, there's no way, unfortunately. Here's the thing about the Acclaimed. They're great. They are amazing. They can get the crowd hype, and they never need the championship. They've never needed the championship. They can do it on their own, face or heel. People want to cheer for the Acclaimed. What is better for them than a championship is just good, fun stories. I think that's how you get the Acclaimed further up. I think once they've been here for like 3 years longer, then you can start to establish them as like legitimate competitors and everything like that. But right now, they're having fun with Daddy Ass. They're walking around scissoring people. You don't need the belts to do that. So...
Anthony, scissor me.
Right there, buddy.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my! Cody's got the scissor in the chat here for you guys. HPC Too Sweet, bring it up to listen. And I believe Darthmic's in agreement with you, Anthony. I don't think the Acclaimed are the one to do it. Parrish, do you think the Acclaimed do it here on Sunday?
No, and I think the reason why is we're going to get the Ass Boys involvement here. And I think that's going to be something where we see the story develop there. I also, to Anthony's point, the Acclaim should win the tag titles by defeating a Young Bucks or somebody more established. because it would give them more out of a championship win. And I think everybody wants to see them win as the most underdog baby faces that they just wanted to see. Kind of like how Liv Morgan won the women's title. You want to see the Acclaim win the tag titles in a similar fashion. Also, to go against Anthony's point of you got to wait 2 to 3 years, are you looking at how long the current champions have been in the company? It has not been 2 to 3 years. It's been more about a few months. And that's kind of one. Yeah, and that's one thing I don't like about this tag division in AEW. It doesn't seem to be revolutionary like I was promised at the podium by the Young Bucks from day one. And it's always been hard for me to get behind them when you're not making FTR the main attraction in the tag division. However, that's my rant. I do see Swerve Inner Glory keeping the championships because Billy Gunn's sons get involved in this match.
Yeah, and to your point there a little bit, Swerve and Keith Lee were two of my top NXT favorites. Enjoy them as a team, but definitely would prefer they split and feud with each other sooner than later. That's the only other counterpoint to the fact of maybe having the Acclaim win the match here.
I have one more counterpoint I want to make because
all right, we got some debates going on here.
Shane Strickland and Keith Lee, former champions of other companies, right? So they haven't been there long, but they have really established themselves. Max Caster, formerly Bobby Lashley's sister in a segment on one of the worst segments on Raw. There's a little bit of a difference still when I think about like that longevity there.
And Bobby Lashley was a 2-time champion. And he was related to that. He has championship DNA now in him because of that.
Astrid, can you bring some sense to this? Do you think the Acclaim win this one, or is it just a walkover for the champions?
No, I think they're having fun with what they're doing right now, so they don't need the championships, and I don't want Swerve and Glory to lose them already as well. Plus, every time I see a title match that doesn't feature FTR, I get mad at those rankings. So every time I see this, no, where's FTR when they're the number ones? Where? Stop avoiding them, TK. Stop it. Really?
They are hanging out with Wardlow for an important match. Very important match.
Because he's known he can do the 8 minutes.
Cody's bringing up a strong point here. Astrid bringing the sanity to here.
Now.
And shout at a cloud, stop avoiding FTR like you would avoid booking more women's matches.
Yes.
In the words, oh, my brother, testify.
Speaking of which, let's get into this here because this was just made last week on AEW Dynamite. Thunder Rosa has to give up her championship due to injury. So this fatal 4-way match was created. Now, I think we all can assume that if they were going to end up with a fatal 4-way, you replace Shida with Thunder Rosa and just go for it. But at the same time here, we got 4 very credible competitors. And the fact that Shida got the pin this past Wednesday on Dynamite in that tag match, normally that's the kiss of death in many ways.
That's
when
WWE.
You get the pin. Yeah, that's what I was going to say here. But that's WWE thinking of booking here. But to me, having Shida get that pin actually means a lot more compared to what would happen in WWE, because everybody's looking at the other 3 thinking that, oh, it's Haters time, it's Tony time, it's always been Britt time. But nobody's thinking Shida's the credible one in this match. And I think a pinfall like she got in the tag match actually solidifies her a little bit more as a credible betting spot in this matchup. With that being said, Astrid, your thoughts on this match and who's going to come out with it? And if you have a rant, let me know. I'll put you full screen too.
Well, my little rant is at least we get the women in a different time frame than 9:30. Hopefully that doesn't happen in the pay-per-view. That's the first of all. Thanks, Parrish, for that thought earlier. But no, I don't want Britt to win it just because we've seen Britt enough getting featured on a weekly basis. I want something different and someone different at this point. Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, we were going to mention about the media call that AEW had earlier. Tony Khan, he had a comment about Thunder Rosa and CM Punk and the 8-minute promo he had to say he was going to be interim or relinquishing the title for the moment and be whatever that situation with the championship and the injury. And he said he'd rather give Punk the 8 minutes compared to Thunder Rosa because Punk is ratings. I get where he was coming from with that because obviously Punk is a household name compared to Thunder Rosa. But I feel like when it's your women that you're booking, you wouldn't say something like this on a media call when so many people are tweeting it and it's going to get to the world in a couple seconds probably. But just, yeah, I thought that having Thunder Rosa in this Fatal 4 would have been awesome to watch, but unfortunately she's out. I would like to see Tony win it though, just to have her and Thunder Rosa when Thunder Rosa returns. And I really don't like this interim stuff. Just do a, four way to crown a new champion, and that's it. But that's just me, I guess. But yeah, I feel like they could have done better with the women and better with the booking. But that's always my rant with AEW. I'm done.
All right. Well, as Cody puts it so Astrid Rat. Well said. I think that the women's division has been the biggest failure in AEW here right now. But with that being said, Mr. Parrish, you're nodding your face in agreement so easily here.
Yeah, because I can easily rant about this too, because it pisses me off that Tony Khan says what he says, but the one thing he needs to do is start listening to the women. He has to shut the F up about this. He doesn't know anything about the women thing because no women outside of Britt Baker has been a star in the company, and that's his fault. Because in 8 minutes, Triple H can make anybody, including Thunder Rosa, a star. So maybe you should think outside the box and, I don't know, bring in a Paige, bring in a Mickie James, and let them run that division because you clearly don't know anything about a women's division. And that is why you have one of the worst women's division because you're not thinking properly about it. And the right thought about this is just shut up and listen to them and understand where they're coming from because all they want to do is have an opportunity to do what they do best. And guess what? What they do best can sometimes outperform who you think are doing the best. With that being said, I think the right reason here is to put this title back on Britt Baker, but have a temporary reign. Because I think you do not want Toni Storm to win the championship off a technicality. You want her winning it off a really good story and becoming a star. That would be the right way to make Toni Storm a credible champion that people care about. Because it did something for Thunder Rosa, and guess what? You, Tony Khan, and your lack of imagination with the women's division crapped on her title reign, and then that is why you had that thought process you do. Shut up and listen because you do not know what you're talking about when it comes to this women's division.
All right, rant done. I love the fact that everybody knows my passion for women's wrestling here and the respect that they deserve, and I love how you guys have that same passion here. And Wacko Ninja's got it perfect. If he booked the women better, they could be a draw. Absolutely.
Wow. Well said.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, your thoughts on this matchup?
All right, rant time. Can you throw it on my face real quick?
All right, let's get them all in. Let's go.
All right. First thing I would just like to say is that was the stupidest comment. You make people with what you put in them. If you only ever give Thunder Rosa 20 seconds for her to do a promo in between like a Tony Schiavone segment, they're never going to succeed. Of course, you're going to give Punk 8 minutes. It's Punk, but you know why? He earned those minutes by getting small segments and building slowly. You just don't give anything to your Thunder Rosa other than 30 seconds. You'll never get anything better out of her, right? So that first up, that is the thing. Next, I'm going to go with something kind of positive. Can you actually throw the graphic up for a second?
Correct.
I would just like to say for the moment that Hikaru Shida with the haircut is an awesome look for her. I think that's fantastic, and she should run being heel, which is why I think Hikaru Shida, you can go back to me there, right there, should be the winner of this match. I honestly think that she didn't have a good enough reign. As a face, it's really hard, especially when you don't feel super comfortable doing all these long promos. At a heel, Hikaru Shida because she's freaking amazing, yelling. I always say the same thing about Asuka, because this was my biggest gripe with Asuka in the WWE. She is great when she is yelling in Japanese and going absolutely insane, and that's what I love. That's what they're great at. Let them do that, right? So for me, giving it to a heel Hikaru Shida, who I think now can put on great matches, who can run as a heel champion to allow a lot of people come up the rankings and do some really good stuff. And then I think someone like a Tony Storm should get it off for the exact same reason Chris said. I don't believe right now that Tony Storm needs that championship, winning it off of 4-way, because like it's kind of a cheap way to win. It doesn't necessarily make you feel very strong, and I know that Tony Khan is very really big on not making his women look strong, but that's why I think you give it to Hikaru Shida. You give her a better run, you let her be a heel, you let people work themselves up to take it off her. Here's the thing, Britt Baker, you could be like, had something similar to that. Britt Baker is different. She's really good, and she did a great job like carrying the division, but I got to the point where I was so tired of seeing Britt Baker, because I'm like, if they're going to give somebody 5 minutes, it's going to be Britt Baker for 2 years. It was like that, and I want something else. I need to see diversity, right? So it's great that she could be a heel champion at the top, but give it to another heel champion. Let something else grow. Let's see what other kind of programs can be created out of the women's division, because my God, I am tired of coming onto my screen. It's 9:15. You know the women's match is about to come on. It's going to get 5 minutes. You're going to have one interview with Tony Schiavone, and there's your women's wrestling for a Wednesday. I'm like, that's not enough. There you go.
All right. I see Astrid going off in the background here behind this.
I just want to say that I definitely censored myself a little, because I can say something that makes fun, like make a little bit more shot at Tony Khan. Because how long did he say he couldn't, Thunder Rosa couldn't go? Again?
Parrish, no, we're not going to go there. Let's just, I see where the joke's lining up. Let's not. Let's just not. In terms of fan comments here, I like this here. White Mountain 66. It's sad that the talent at a high level of women's wrestling not being used right, all being underutilized. White Mountain also has a question for you, Jupiter. Do you own the figures of all your picks tonight? And Shout believes that you should if you don't.
I think he only is picking because he has the figures.
No, here's the thing. There's a match I don't have
right now, actually.
But that being said, if
that's
there's
my
gonna
line.
Be a winner, if there's gonna be a winner, I think it would be Mox, right? With the championship. Right?
Mox in a box.
Yeah, Mox in a box. But you know what? Potentially, it could be Hangman. You never really know. We'll see.
All right. Well, you know what? Since first of all, let's HPC2 Sweet brings up this one. Cameraman! I'll just leave that there.
Can I just say I love playing Vic at chess? He's one of my chess player friends.
Shout out to Cloud. Stare at the same wall, catering at the rest of them. That's what he thinks most of the women there. Cody, I'll get to your next comment here in just a second. I want to bring up this one comment, and I'm actually going to bring it up to a chat screen here for a second while we got it. Because this one actually came in, and I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts on this are, since we're talking about the women's division already. And this came in from Darth Mick. What do you think the impact of Madison Rayne coming in as the quote-unquote coach of the knockouts is going to do here for the women's division here at AEW? Who wants to jump on this first?
I personally hope she's a manager of a female stable.
Okay, Astrid, what do you think? What do you think the effect of Madison Rayne's going to be on this women's division here? Like, she's already had a couple matches, and she's already lost to Jade, so we know that one's gone out the window all the way.
What I would have loved for her to be in charge of the women, just like you see Maria and Mickey and Gil do with Impact. Do have her have a similar role here, because I feel like the woman will be the only one that could give a better booking for the women's division than what Tony Khan's doing at the moment. And I'd love to see somebody fresh do it, to see if we get an opportunity for something better than what we're getting right now. That was always my hope with her since they said they hired her. So.
I love that you mentioned Mickey, because I honestly believe that she is the greatest female wrestler of all time. I think you're silly and that is a word that I don't say because I have respect for Mike and your channel to not say something worse. I think you're silly if you have a wrestling company and you want to care for your women's division, and Mickie James is not a part of that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Fair enough. And just before I switch over to the last, Anthony, you haven't piped up with your thoughts on this.
I don't think, unfortunately, it will do much as long as Tony Khan continues to make all the decisions with regards to the women's division. I think you will see an increase in performance and in promos in the women's division, especially. I think those will be getting better, but I don't think it will have much of an impact on the actual booking unless something happens as a change. And I'm also going to disagree with Chris Parrish once again, as Mickie James is not the best female wrestler of all time because Manami Toyota exists. All right, sorry.
Have they ever wrestled?
And to that point,
I don't think so, but if they did,
let's get it going
over.
But I also have one more thing. We know that Tony Khan loves CM Punk and he has a lot of faith in that. I think one woman that actually could help out the female division that Tony Khan would listen to could be CM Punk's wife, AJ Lee.
If they could get her away from women in wrestling.
She doesn't have to wrestle, but if she could be the voice of the voiceless for the women, I think it could work.
Nice pun there.
I hear Tessa Blanchard's not doing very much right now. Maybe we could just...
All right, on that note, let's get some fan comments here before we get to the last match. YYC Iceman just popping in here. Thank you, Mr. Levy.
Hey, Mr. Levy!
And then Shout of the Cloud has a good point here. Give Katie the booking grades and go full Joshi matches. That would be great to see.
Madness.
Madness.
But still, full Joshi matches would be fantastic.
Madness.
Just bring in like a lot of like stardom. Oh, dude,
and
down with this.
And then we got Cody Defoe here. I think Madison has learned a lot from Mickey, Gail, and Maria. I hope she rallies the women in the locker room the way that the other women did for their companies. Absolutely. If she can help in any way, it'd be an absolute bonus for us. So, but you know what? Let's get to our last match, and what I'm hoping is the main event for this card. It is the AEW Trios Tournament, and for those that are watching this on replay here, first of all, thank you. I do appreciate it, and I think we all do. And with that, we haven't been able to watch Rampage yet because for once it's actually live, I do believe. So we had the Elite defeat the United Empire yesterday on Dynamite. And now the Dark Order is taking on the Best Friends. And now the infusion of Hangman Adam Page into the team of the Dark Order. I don't know if it's a lock, but I'm pretty sure that... Anthony, do you have a Hangman Page figure?
Yeah, you showed it already.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You showed it already. There you go.
Right there.
Yep, so we know who's winning that match. But with that being said, this is going to be a hell of a story, even though, you know, Silver and Reynolds being in the main event, that would be quite a bit of a shock to a lot of us here if you just think about it just by the players. But by the story that they could tell in this matchup here, I think it could absolutely be outstanding. Astrid, first of all, I'm going to go on the assumption here that the Dark Order is winning tomorrow. Like, I think we could go 3-0 saying that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. With that being said, who wins the first ever triple or trios championships in AEW, and why is it the Elite probably?
My heart wants the Dark Order because they haven't been booked correctly, unfortunately. I wish they had a better booking since they started, and Hangman's teaming up with them, but I know how it'll be. It'll be the Elite winning it, and it'll be kind of cool to end the match with the confetti and them winning it. But yeah, I wish the Dark Order would win it, though. That will be my ultimate wish, but I know it's not going to happen, unfortunately. But either way, it's going to be incredible to watch it. I'm really excited for this one.
Could you imagine the tribute to Brody? Have -1 come out at the end and make the difference in the match here, and have the Dark Order win it? That would be absolutely fantastic, really. Yeah. Cody's a little upset with me here right now. Orange Cassidy ain't no chance. I'm all behind that idea. Oh, I guess he is supporting me on that, but I'd love to see Orange Cassidy win there. Hey, he main evented Double or Nothing a year and a half ago, so... And Shadow the Cloud's going for best friend. So everybody's arguing with me about the first pick, let alone the second. Anthony, your thoughts on this matchup here, and what do you think we're going to get out of this match here?
Happiness. Happiness is what we're going to get out of this match, and I'll tell you why. I'm going with my heart on this one. Yes, Hangman Adam Page will join the likes of people like Evil Uno as a part of the Dark Order, as a tribute, of course, to Mr. Brody Lee, because the Dark Order is fantastic, and they haven't had a really good show since, unfortunately, the Brody Lee Memorial show. Hangman Page will join the Dark Order. They will win. And then they will face Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks in the championships. In my opinion, they will win over the Elite, because seeing Johnny Hungy, seeing people like Evil Uno, here's the reasons for this. And I can tell you, it came down to one thing that was said on TV that made me go, they're pushing the Dark Order. And I'll tell you exactly what it was. For the first time ever, they announced 10 as Preston Vance. They gave him his friggin' name, which means something's going to happen with the Dark Order. I think it's very important. And I personally would love to see the Dark Order standing as the first trio. See, here's the thing. They don't need a long reign. It's the Dark Order. They are the feel-good group of AEW. Everyone loves the Dark Order. Ever since they first came out, everybody was like, what are these weird people with all these like minion people and making it Chariot of humans? That's really weird. That was stupid. And then as soon as Brody Lee joined and turned them, they became the greatest and best faction in AEW. And they have been mistreated since then. Stu Grayson has left. Alan Angels has left. Colt Cabana seems to no longer be a part of the group. You know, Anna Jay's no longer a part of the group. Unfortunately, Brody Lee died. Or Brody Lee. I'm sorry. I was about to say Brody King. Brody Lee died. The Dark Order needs something, and I personally feel the Trios Championships, it would be great for them to be the first. They don't need it for very long. They can put over a much better Trios, but until that moment, I want to see these two, as well as a John Silver, standing tall on the end of Saturday as our first Trios champions. That's what I want.
All right, and your partner, Shadow the Cloud, is completely against you here, and the Dark Order lost me when Stu left. That doesn't surprise you that,
I know his opinion on them. I just disagree.
And I'll go back to this. And Darthwick's got a very good point here. I think back to the original tag team tournament where I think it was Private Party upset the Young Bucks. That was the 1-8 match in the original tag team tournament, yes.
For 8th seed bending the first seed. That was awesome.
Yeah. Parrish, your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I think Dark Order beats Best Friends. Cody, I know you said, what about Orange Cassidy? Is he freshly squeezed? No, I think in this tournament he's freshly squashed. Wow. I think the perfect person, and I really don't think this has much chance happening, but I think it's the most fitting. If you want to have somebody revitalize the Dark Order in a great tribute to Brody Lee, Wyndham Rotunda would be the perfect person to have in that position. Even better than Hangman Page, even though I know people are just hoping that Adam Page is the one who beats Kenny Omega and wins that Trios championship for the Dark Order. And I think that really is the best story here. I don't think I would care about the Trios titles if the Elite were to win them, because I just don't see any reason why any of those three need championships right now. And I don't think they do a damn thing to help elevate those titles.
The only thing for me that tells me that there is a possibility that the Dark Order's best friend winner could win it is what happened after Dynamite on Wednesday here, with Will Ospreay and Aussie Open taking out the Elite following the cameras going down. That could just be playing it up, but that also could be setting up a matchup for the Tokyo Dome coming up January 4th, which I think everybody's looking for. And to me, if that's the case, you don't need a 6-man championship going over to Japan when it could just be well used here in America over that Christmas season.
And to your point, another trio that we haven't talked about is the likes of Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, and Bobby Fish.
Not anymore.
Bobby Fish is no longer with the company.
No, I know. But You didn't let me finish my point.
All right, finish. Go ahead.
Because
finish.
yes, we might see Bobby Fish out, but there could be down the road a Roderick Strong coming in.
Yeah, Roddy! I miss him so much. I want him in AEW. Diamond Mine's the only reason I watch NXT sometimes.
But, well, thank you. But yeah, no, I mean, I do think knowing that Adam Cole has turned his back on the Young Bucks before, I do think that this is a story that we're going to see a little bit of closure at some point. So I do think we need to understand this could be a possibility, not necessarily reality, but it definitely is a possibility of something happening here, because the only reason why Adam Cole or why the Young Bucks are with Kenny Omega is because Adam Cole denied any of the Undisputed Elite as people to help them out.
Fair enough.
Can I give a hot take?
Yeah.
I'm really tired of Adam Cole right now. Like, and here's the thing. Okay, and here's the thing. I love Adam Cole, okay? And Shout will actually agree with me on this one. He's just been the same person for a long time, telling the same story. We watched it. So in Shout's case, he watched it all the way through our Ring of Honor. So by the time he got to NXT and did the same thing, he was already kind of bored. But that was my first time getting to see Adam Cole. So I was like, raw NXT Adam Cole. I fucking love it. I would be there all day for that. And then he came over to AEW, and he's the same thing. And I mean, like, it's cool, but it's not an evolution. And he hasn't changed really since Ring of Honor. You can go back. It's the same thing. I just want to see something else. Like, I love Adam Cole. He does a fantastic job. He's an incredible wrestler. I just want a different story with Adam Cole. That's my big thing. That's my whole.
All right. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Parrish.
And this is kind of in a way to agree with it. I love Adam Cole, but I think one of his best things he's ever done in AEW was when he was on AEW, that talk show with RJ City. That was probably the most entertaining thing he's done there, because I think he, alongside his counterparts, were better suited staying where they were and not joining AEW, in my personal opinion. I just
his debut though, hey. Oh.
I just hope going back to this trios titles that they give us a welcoming surprise. They make us feel good about it, because if the titles aren't the main focus, then the story of who's holding them definitely damn well should be.
Fair enough. And let's get some thoughts here before we take off here on. So in response to Jupiter, Shouted a Cloud says, "It's okay, you can be wrong, it's your right." And he also justifies once again wanting the best friends to win. Adam Cole has not succeeded without a crew, which very well could be a valid point here.
That's a Pat McAfee take.
Adam Cole's character evolution died when he died of being the Elite.
That was years ago.
Who else does Adam Cole? That's a good one for you, and I'm going to pose that to Anthony right now while we're in the middle of an ad break here on Twitch. Who else does Adam Cole need to be?
He doesn't need to be anybody. He can stay as Adam Cole. He can be Adam Cole, baby. He just needs to tell a different story. Something better than, hey, look at me. I'm Adam Cole, and also I'm Adam Cole. And that's like literally every story. You're not better than me because I'm Adam Cole. Just something else. You know what I mean? Get him into a fight over somebody spilling his drink at the bar or something. Anything. Something creative. Anything else.
That happened. We called it. It was in WWE.
UK. I understand, but like
that's how Serena Deeb lost her role in the Straight Edge Society. It's because she was talking to Adam Cole in the bar.
There you go. So that was back when there was still evolution in his character, though.
All right, so we got two more questions here, and then we'll start wrapping things up here. Cody's asking who should be the first challengers for the championships. I think we're going to have to wait and see who the champions are before we decide who the challengers are going to be here. But if you guys have any thoughts,
that it's going to be either the Elite or it's going to be the Dark Order, because like one of them will probably come in kind of face and the other one will come in completely face. So you know what I mean? Like one's kind of tweeny, so you can kind of build any story from that.
Or you could go with Shadow
Billy
Cloud and
Gunn
say
and
how's
the
some...
Acclaimed at some point going after those titles.
Ooh, the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn would be great. I would love that.
So here's one last question here. This is from YYC Ice Bet. It's a little wordy, but so as someone who is very, and I mean very casually following wrestling, the thought of a 3-man championship for the casual follower, unless they use it to bring more viewers because they have 3 times the pull power. So it should be someone who could bring in the viewership. Well, in this case, either team can really do that in different ways here. The Dark Order is more about the storyline and how to develop character, while the Young Bucks are the originators of flippy flop wrestling in many ways. So
it's kind of an unfair team if you think about it from the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega's perspective, because you have in contention legitimately one of the greatest tag teams of all times, and also in contention one of the greatest wrestlers of all time on one team, right? Like they're getting 2 of the very best. So their story is always going to be, hey, we're just the best, like legitimately out there. Dark Order could have so much fun with that because you know that there's a lot of people out there who could beat, Evil Uno. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there who have pinned John Silver. So for them to have the championships, I think this makes more fun, more sense, and more interesting stories.
Absolutely.
If the Elite win, I would love Wardlow and FTR to challenge them.
There you go. So as we're wrapping this up here, we're getting close to the end here. Well, let's see here. There's so much of the best. One might even call them elite. Oh, here we go. Here's another generic question as we come up here. Do you think Stokely might be building a stable on behalf of someone? All heels being recruited. None of them have been outside of WWE, outside of Morrissey, but he got fired. Looking at MJF. Or you have Morrissey, Ethan Page, Jade, Gun Club, which makes 5 people. Rotunda filled for Wyndham 6. Just saying. Could it be that Stokely's just an agent for somebody like an MJF in this case?
I think personally, and this is just based on everything I've seen going on in AEW over the last month and 2 months, well, now that Stokely Hathaway has appeared, they don't know what they're doing. And that's pretty obvious. Like they're just week to week. He's just like, maybe W. Morrissey, hey, maybe we should add this person to Jade's roster. She doesn't like, maybe you should trust me. Maybe I should disappear randomly off TV now. That's basically Stokely Hathaway's story up to this point. So,
and also, it might explain his frustrations seeping through out last Wednesday with Tony, right? Because Tony kept bugging him, and all of a sudden, we almost got a fight between the two.
Yeah, that was weird. He also acted so irrationally. Like when he came up, he just, what are you doing, man? I'm just like, okay, first up, I think the ref could take you out. Like, just like, I think Tony could take you out. Like, anything could happen at this point.
I don't think Tony can take anybody out. That's why the women's division is so bad.
No, I don't think that Tony could beat anybody in the women's division. I still think he could beat Stokely Hathaway.
So, Shadow to Cloud asks, do we see Morrissey in ROH, though, if this is the case? Are we looking at interpromotional stables? That's the other question here.
I think Morrissey has a good shot at going back to WWE. I don't know if I would necessarily read too much into Morrissey right now. It all depends on if we see that graphic that he's all elite or he's actually there. Because as of right now, I think he's just working based on appearance with that company.
And then we got Cody just talking about Tony just needs to keep stoking that fire.
That's kind of what it feels like. He's just throwing like the Stokely Hathaway log into the fire once a week, and every week it's burning more and more of the fire away. And you're just like, what is this log? Ain't as good as I thought it was gonna be. You know what I mean? Needs to talk to Doc Brown from Back to the Future, learn about like good burning logs.
I'd love I like Stokely Hathaway to try to get Swerve in our glory underboard. If he can do that, then I'd be a little bit more okay, this guy's doing something big.
Mm-hmm.
You can get Keith Lee and Swerve under your payroll, and now we're talking.
Fair enough. And you know what? That's all we can see here coming up in the future here. But you know what? Before we get going here, we should wrap this up. We've been at this for an hour 45 already. So just want to remind everybody that once again, this is sponsored by Beercade YEG in Edmonton. Please call ahead to reserve a table for yourself and your friends. There are free video games, which, I'm going to be enjoying a little bit of Street Fighter 3 myself, but make sure
Strike?
Third Strike, of course.
Because that's the best one. I agree. That's the best Street Fighter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Third Strike, by far best. Parry system, best in that game. Screw Street Fighter 2.
Absolutely. I'm not going to argue with you on one single idiot of that there. And once again, like I said, there is a private function going on the same night, so make sure, I'll show it again, the phone number's right on there, 938-7391. Book ahead, because you're definitely going to want to be there, and you'll want to join us, so... But as we're wrapping things up here, I'll have a big announcement as soon as we're done here. I want to give you guys your plugs first, and then I'm going to announce. I got a big announcement coming up for something I'm doing next week here on the channel. So, all right, let's get you guys over here as we're going here. And Parrish, you said you were the most tired before we started, so I'll go with you first.
I'm tired,
Just
but we
put
all
yourself
know that
over.
I
What you
can go
doing?
all night. Well, first off, you can follow me on all the social medias. You can follow me on Twitter at Chris Parrish. You can follow me on Instagram at Chris.Parrish. You can follow me on Twitch at The Chris Parrish, where I do absolutely nothing. And that is why I am your non-continental champion, which I've been asked if there's an actual championship, which I thought was awesome. There is not, but now I have ideas. Also, you can definitely find me over on a company called Love Wrestling, where I do Sunday brunch with Bobby Munson. We are the Brunch Busters because brunch makes us feel good. So come check that out. You can also check me out at RCW this Saturday night, where I am taking on in a tag team myself and Mars the Specialist against Jack Pride and TJ Cannon.
So you got a handicap match.
That, and you can also find me wearing this beauty.
Shout out to Parrish here wearing the acclaimed merch of.
If you're gonna say acclaimed, you gotta now scissor me, Mike. Come on, Mike.
Get over here, Chris. Come on this side. I need it over here.
Wait, hold on. There we go.
We're going down here. I'm gonna do Astrid.
All right, well,
This is terrible.
Anthony, as you're trying to get everybody to scissor you, why don't you put yourself over here and let everybody know where they can get a hold of you and what your next big interview is going to be.
Yeah, sure. So you can follow me on Twitter, where I am most active, at Wrestlesode or at JupiterVision_, but I am more active on Wrestlesode. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Wrestlesode. Nice and simple. My next big interview will be next Tuesday, as I will be chatting with the promoter and former wrestler of WrestleCore, Cobra Kai, which I'm very excited for, looking forward to. I know, right? That's going to be a really good one. We just put up our interview this week with the Lion Warrior, Bobby Sharp, who Parrish is familiar with after last week. He put up our interview last week, or earlier this week, and it's doing pretty good for itself. GG's done really well. You had a match against him, so you know all about him now. I mean, you guys are, the whole thing is about you guys have known each other for a fucking while. That was the
20 years. 20 years.
But they didn't have the most historic rivalry on the card, apparently. But that's a different story for a different day here.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I'll finish this up. Also, you guys check out the Canadian Wrestling Archive on YouTube. That's where all the interviews actually end up going up eventually. You guys can check me out on my Twitch at twitch.tv/JupiterVision. And also, just be understanding that I have come up with a sponsorship recently, so I'm probably going to be plugging a Star Trek game here very shortly. So please, when I give you that link, download it and enjoy it, because I want money. All right, cool. That's it.
And don't forget, a lot of the video that's coming over here from Backbreaker Video will also be available on the Canadian Wrestling Archive as well. Stay tuned for its gradual release, as I'm getting slow at getting them the stuff. So
we have a bit of a backlog still, and I know Shout's working very hard.
And let's hey, yo, Juke, did you ever get that pick from Cobra Kai?
I gave it to him. There's a picture. I will post it online very soon. It's going to be great. I don't know how to throw it into this area, but that will be my next interview. Will be with Cobra Kai. It's pretty cool. It's like black and white. He's like talking through a mic. It's great.
All right, but before I throw it over to Astrid here, Wacko Ninja has a question I've been asking about for about a year now.
What is Northern Tour? I don't even know what that is.
It's a Tony Manoa tour.
Northern Territory.
Where is the Northern Territory game?
So it is right where it has been on my Steam account, unopened for the last year. It is a shitty program to program in. I am very limited, but it was fun to work on for a little while. For those of you who don't know, I created a video game specifically based on Alberta wrestling, which is where I started working on it and then stopped because the RPG Maker sucks. Anyways. And
Shelly's, this might be a private conversation you're looking for?
Yeah, there was a picture that we took when we were at NEW last week. It was a picture of me and Shout and Artemis Spencer and Cobra Kai just doing like this really awesome link for me. It was a fucking awesome photo. I haven't gotten it yet. I've asked him for it, but I'll get it from next week. We'll ask him about it.
And Wacko Ninja has an explanation why he didn't remember the name, and I completely understand it.
Northern Territory, yeah.
Also, Anthony, next time you're at an LPW show, let's get a picture. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't we try to get a picture? Didn't we get a picture? Hold on.
Yeah, but
didn't I ask you for a picture?
Oh, we got a selfie.
You guys can find you guys can find a bunch of pictures and whatever and figure that out later.
I'm like, we got a selfie. I'm like, that was one of the ones I made sure I got.
Guys, it's almost midnight for Astrid. Let's see where we can get a hold of Astrid here so we can wrap this show up here.
You can find me on my Twitter, which is Astrid Pizarro. On the weekends, I do my NXT 2.0 and I guess NXT Europe coming soon review on Women's Wrestling Talk, so you can follow them for that. At the moment, I guess I'm sort of a free agent until further notice, but I got things that I'm working on. So hopefully this month they'll start. We'll see about that. But yeah, you can find me on my Twitter and I'll post everything about it there. Yeah.
There you go. That's easy. I like it when it's concise. And, there we go. Hold on, let me get the pic. There you go.
Oh, it's all blurry suddenly. There you go.
No, it's good. You're good.
We got one.
That was good hair, despite the fact I also wrestled like a 12-minute match, too. I'm just going to point that out.
Jupe and following through on something named a worst pair. I could list them, but I want to keep this thing somewhat positive today, so we'll just leave it at that. All right, well, I guess it's my turn here, so I'll just go like this. Lucky thing for me is if you're on Twitch right now, I don't need to give you anywhere to find me because just look down below in the panels there. You'll find all the information that you need. But I did promise you guys yesterday, anybody that was on my Twitch stream, that I'm going to have a special announcement coming up here, right? So here it is. Well, straight up, I know there's been a lot of BS that's been going around Alberta here and going around involving me. And people say that the ref doesn't play nice with people. That I don't work well with people, that I don't play nice with people, but, that's just the way it is right now. I will live with it. I will live with that, but I am going to work on it. So, in order to do that, I've decided, this Monday, I'm introducing a new show on my Twitch channel, and it's called Play Nice Ref. And I have a very special guest that's going to be joining me for my very first time working on Play Nice Ref. And it's Alberta wrestler Kayla J, former Alberta wrestler. And we're going to be playing Mario Party Superstars. Now, for playing Mario Party Superstars, well, that's usually the friendship killer. So, hopefully, if I can survive that and we can get along for the next, for those 2-3 hours, hopefully, things will... I'll get a better reputation. I'll be able to treat things nice. And don't forget, folks, you guys can come in and ask all your questions you want. And, where did that come from? Oh, there. Damn it. What's going on here? There we go. That's better. Things are getting clicked all over the place here. Dax Flame is coming according to Jupiter.
You just made something about the fact that you're like, we're going to be positive on all of this. And I just watched a Dax Flame video where he's like, I'm going to run out of money, so I'm going to make a series of really positive videos. And I was just like, yeah, Dax Flame is coming up, Backbreaker.
So I'm glad that the response is as positive as it is right now. DBS Pod, shout out to them. Fellow Backbreaker Gaming member, yay.
I'm so excited
Yay,
for Kayla. She was one of my very first interviews. She is one of my favorite. She's the person who I miss watching on like a weekly or like monthly basis wrestling more than like other people right now. I really miss Kayla.
So
Well,
I've
she was
actually
my first interview, though. And I loved interviewing her. She's one of my favorite people ever.
She's
since
so
I
good.
started.
She's great.
So we are going to be playing on Monday here, and it's going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain, somewhere around there. Feel free to stop in, ask your questions as we're going along, because we are playing Mario Party Superstars. It's not like we have to go at a frenetic pace throughout that game. This might not be the last time we do this together, but it's definitely going to be a fun time. And if you, like I said, if you guys have any questions, comments, anything, feel free to stop by. We are more than willing to take those here. But any last thoughts on All Out here for you guys here before we wrap things up here tonight?
I hope there's surprises.
Parrish, yeah.
I do hope that there's surprises, but here's the thing that I think AEW, like my overarching theme is that AEW really needs to create some sort of hype coming out of this, because I really honestly feel like AEW is in kind of a lull right now. And now that the Triple H era and WWE are kind of firing on all cylinders, and you see like the ratings in Raw breaking 2 million again. So like, do you know what I mean? Like if AEW continues to go down and WWE's going back up, it's not going to look good for AEW, especially at a time where they are legitimately trying to compete for that #1 spot. So they have to, and here's the thing, I don't think it has to be the best wrestling in the world, but I think it has to have enough intrigue and story to hook people moving forward. I think that's the way that they have to do that with this show.
So at least we confirmed somebody's coming down. White Mountain 66. Hope the food is good and I actually get my order. Well, the ordering has been a lot better since COVID ended here. There was a little glitch on the first show, but other than that, it's been the service has been great. Make sure you tip your servers if you're there. Come say hi if you're around. And
Mike and I didn't get our fries at the LPW show. I'm just putting that out there. Food order goes. It's an Edmonton thing. Nobody in Edmonton knows how to give food to the proper order, so it's just
Yeah, but you stole Omen fans' food, didn't you?
Hey,
I stole
to be fair, I go to Calgary and I never get to see a Stanley Cup.
I mean, going west of Edmonton, you don't really get to see them.
Hey, it's been awarded in Canada during COVID times.
I think the best way to wrap this up is just a comment here by Darthwick. Thank you for taking the time on the stream. Loved hearing the opinions and views. Hope everyone has a great and safe weekend. It's going to be a busy one to say the least here. So with Worlds Collide, Clash at the Castle, and then All Out, it is going to be a jam-packed week of wrestling action here. But Astrid, you got anything before we head out?
Do better for the women's division, please.
I think we all can agree. I think we all can agree on that. Parrish?
If I can too, because like we all know that when AEW started, one of their biggest competitors on the WWE side was NXT, and NXT has a show on that same day, and they have a really good show coming up. So this is a really important event for AEW to make sure that they're smacking it out of the park on all cylinders, because the last thing you want to do right now is lose that battle with NXT under the Triple H regime now. So Let's hope this has to be one of AEW's best show, and Tony Khan, you better be putting everything at the board and hoping it sticks.
Absolutely here. And yeah, I don't know if I can sum it up any better. It better happen this weekend, or else AEW's in big trouble. I think that's the best way to put it here. But for those on the Twitch stream, I'm going to send you over to a buddy. I'm going to send you over to Mr. Rick Jules here, who's trying to scam me out of a capture card or an upscaler for upgrading his video on his streams, fellow Backbreaker Gaming member. But other than that...
And a great human being.
I was muted when I said that.
Sorry?
said, and a great human being, by the way.
Yeah,
Love
absolutely.
the guy. Love the man.
Great show, everyone. I missed a little bit for obvious reasons, but caught most of it. Thank you, Bobby. We appreciate you. And want to say thank you to everybody for stopping by. I normally have some exit music and whatnot, but on behalf of the natural Astrid Pizarro, on behalf of Anthony Graham from Wrestlesode, on behalf of the former CNWA provincial champion Chris Parrish, this is Mike the Ref saying once again,
Eating Mike's head.
be part of the solution, don't be part of the problem. And we'll see y'all here next time on the Mike the Ref Twitch channel. Take
One last
care,
thing.
everybody.
Calgary's better than Edmonton.
No, they're not.
I am
That's why
so
we
glad
took them out of
that
the playoffs.
got away before the raid was done.
That's okay. Colorado took you out of the playoffs. I'm happy with that.
That's fine. Calgary did not.
For those watching on YouTube, thank you for suffering through that last 30 seconds here. And we'll see you guys around next time. Well, we'll do this again sometime soon. I don't know exactly when, but hopefully we'll see y'all here on Monday with Kayla J. So take care, everybody. Oh, what?
I was going to say quickly again, Calgary's still better than Edmonton. Just for the YouTube as well.
Okay.